Today we're talking about lesson 2.27. Can you believe there are 27 lessons so far? There's only 2 more. We'll go to 29, and then it'll be time for your chapter module 2 test this Friday. Okay? So we're wrapping up what we've been talking about. We're going to continue talking about dividing decimals today, and your learning goal is to be able to divide decimals by estimating, deciding where to put the decimal point, and then also multiplying to check. Remember when we divide decimals, we always go through 3 steps. E stands for? Estimating. D stands for? Divide. And M stands for? Yeah, you need to do all 3 steps. And today we're going to look at how we can continue practicing doing those 3 steps to help us divide decimals. But first, let's talk about the problem of the day. So in this problem, what are we trying to figure out? What's the question asking? We're trying to figure out how many kilometers each team member will run, right? And we know that there's 77 kilometers altogether, split equally by how many people? 22. So your very first step, and this is what I want you to write down, is E, D, and C. Okay, you're going to save some room. Then under the D, you're going to set up your division problem. What's our whole? What are we splitting? Arhan, what's our whole in this problem?
Our whole is
In this problem, our whole is 77 because that's the total number of kilometers we're splitting. Now, what's our divisor? We're going to divide that 77 by what? How many people? Itai?
22.
22. Okay, so our division problem that we're going to set up is 77 divided by 22. Now that we know our division problem, let's estimate. We know we need to estimate the divisor first. So 22 is pretty close to what number that's a lot easier to work with? Reagan? 20. Okay. So now let's divide. Let's try to round the whole. 77 is not that compatible with 20. What number is really close to 77 that's more compatible with 20? Junebuk?
80.
80. Okay, you're right. Now let's check our place value. Is it 80 tens, 80 ones, 80 tenths, or 80 hundredths? What do we have here? 80, what? 81s. Good. Okay, what's 80 divided by 20? 4 ones. Good. So when we divide, what should we try first? 4 ones. Okay, let's put a 4 there. What's 4 times 22? 88. Is that going to work for us? That's too big. So instead of 4, what should we try? 3. Okay. What's 3 times 22 is? 66. So what do we have left over? 11. Now, could we say, Aaliyah, I need you to help me run the relay. Can you please run 3 remainder 11 kilometers? Would you know how far to run?
No.
That remainder, does it mean anything? Is it a specific distance?
No.
No, right? So we need to keep dividing, don't we? So if I have 11 ones left over, I can regroup that as how many tenths? 110 tenths. Okay, so let's add a decimal point here and carry down the tenths. Now if I have 110 tenths, let's estimate first. If our divisor is 20, 110 tenths is pretty close to what number? That's easier to work with and compatible with 20. Sporty?
80.
There's something even closer. 110 is pretty close to a number that's compatible with 20. Alina? 100. Now, be careful. We need to write a place value. This is 100 ones or 100 tenths or 100 what's? What do we have here? 100 tenths. Good. Is it important to write this place value when we're estimating?
Yeah.
If we don't write it, we'll make some fabulous fails, won't we? Okay. Okay, 100 divided by 20 is 5. And I know I'm working with the tenths place, so I'm also going to write that here. That means when I move over to my dividing, I'm going to try 5 tenths. What's 5 times 22? 110. Okay. And it's 110 tenths. So do I have any remainders?
No.
So my answer then is each person will need to run 3.5 kilometers. I'm almost done. Not quite. I have 1 step left. I need to do the C part. What does the C stand for? Check. So how can I multiply to check? What do I need to multiply? Besicht? I would multiply my quotient, which is 3.5, by my divisor, which is 22. Okay, now when I'm going to multiply, I see that I have a decimal. So I have to think in my head that I'm going to multiply this by 10, right, to move the decimal point over here. Okay, let's multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 3 is?
6.
Plus 1 is?
7.
Okay, now I'm working in the tens. Oh, it's going to be 70 one more time, isn't it? Okay, now I have 0, 7, 7. 770, uh-oh, that's not what I wanted. I need to remember that I multiplied by 10 here, so I need to divide by 10. So I can put the decimal point back. So my answer then is 77. Is that what I want?
Yeah.
Because it's the same as my original whole. So I can put a check mark, meaning I checked it. Itai said one pro tip we have for dividing is to remember to write down the units and place values when you are estimating. Good. Reagan, what's another pro tip you have?
Make sure you divide correctly.
Ooh, so make sure you divide correctly. How can you be sure that you're dividing correctly? Tara?
You can check your answers.
You can check your answers. How could you check? Hold on. Make sure you divide correctly. Okay, Tara, how could you check your answers?
You can multiply the quotient with the divisor.
Yeah, so you can check using multiplication. Check by multiplying. Good. I would say those are 3 really excellent pro tips for dividing.